Getting your colored pencil art to look like it glows is not a matter of talent or magic. There's actual science to it. Follow these 10 steps with me, and you'll be making glow effects left and right too. 1. Have a plan. It's important to go into every project knowing exactly what you want the outcome to look like. And that's why you should always work from a reference image on something as involved as a glow effect. Now, this can be just a very crude mock-up of light, shadow, and color distribution. Or it can be something fun you found online, something you photographed yourself, sketched or painted yourself, or even generated with AI. I'm going off this photo of an acrylic painting of mine. I see that my composition is mostly green with some yellow green and some blue green. But it's not just the colors that matter. We also have shades of green, which is adding black, and tints of green, which is adding white. 2. Evaluate the value scale. The value scale is the full range from black to white with a gradual progression of dark to light in between. Classically, we represent this on grayscale, but value can be applied to colors too. Just look at which darkness levels match which value numbers. It doesn't matter if it's gray, green, pink, or purple. A value of 5 will be exactly the same across the color wheel. So roam your reference image and identify areas that are pure black and pure white, and then all the shades and tints of your main color or colors in terms of value. Make a mental note of the ratios. Are there more midtones or more high contrast areas? Decide if you want to follow the reference image exactly or make some adjustments for a stronger glow effect. For instance, I see that in my case, the white on the crystal needs to be a little bit more pure than what I have on this print. 3. Pre-select your pencils. We identified green, yellow green, and blue green as our main colors, but there are multiple ways of getting these hues. We may have the perfect yellow-green pencil in our collection, or we may need to create it by actually combining yellow and green, or by adding blue to green instead of getting that perfect turquoise pencil. So starting in the middle of the value scale, pre-select 3 mid-tone greens and make a note of what they are. And you'll see that some of mine are on the cool side and some are on the warm side. That's why it's important to get a few of them in there. Next, do the same for the lighter values and the same for the darker values. By the way, the link to this coloring page and the charts has been popping up on the screen. Either click on the link below or scan the QR code and try this for yourself. These pages are my gifts to you. Finally, add pure white and pure black. You may not end up using all of these colors, and in fact you probably won't, but you should use at least one from each category. 4. Practice gradient blending. To determine which of the selected pencils you're most likely to work with, practice gradient transition blending. I've given you 2 strips here to play with. This is such a great practice before any coloring project, and it will give you a feel for how your pencils layer, helping you to decide which ones to keep and which ones to replace. When practicing a gradient, I like to start with one of the mid or light tones and build up from there. Every time I add a darker color, I blend with the previous color, leaving black last. I teach color selection and value scale and gradient practices in my flagship course, How to Use Colored Pencils Like a Pro. So if the science of color is something that interests you, there's a whole lot more to it than just these tips. Consider joining the full program. It's free to join and free to start. 5. Start with an underpainting. This is your first fast layer of shadows that will guide the whole coloring. This can be done with brush markers or watercolor paint. I love using my Copic brush markers for this, but any brand will do as long as your paper can handle it. And speaking of paper, I'm working on 65-pound light green cardstock. Oh, and by the way, this effect can absolutely be done on white paper as well. It will just take a little longer. The light green undertone will save me about an hour of extra shading and layering, but the effect will be exactly the same. Doing this step with a brushy tool, like my markers, achieves 2 things. First, it will speed things up for you, and second, and more important, it will act as a warm-up exercise for your hand, getting it all loose and fluid for a long coloring haul ahead. 6. Practice smooth blending. Just like on the gradient practice strip, start with lighter colors and layer darker ones, but always leapfrog. As you layer darker hues, blend them with previously used lighter tones. This way, you will get the most beautiful gradient transitions, and you will have complete control over the level of detail and also the full range of contrast. As you watch me color this, also note how frequently the pencil color changes in my hand. Even though I'm only using a small number of pencils, I never introduce any new ones. And at times, I switch between them every few seconds. Oh, and there will actually be a live stream of this. I don't have the exact date yet, as unfortunately, I just got sick. And I'm very rapidly losing my voice, so I'm trying to get this recording done. So obviously I'm in no condition to run a 2-hour live show right now, but I will keep you posted on when that will happen, probably sometime in the next 2 weeks. So you can join the live demo, follow along step by step, and most importantly, you can ask me questions in real time. So keep your eyes open for that. 7. Leave black for last. On any given area, and I did the face in the top part of the drawing first, so as not to smudge things on my way down, black should be the absolute last pencil pigment that you add to your gradients. On some occasions, you may want to come in after that with some white highlights, for instance with a white gel pen or white acrylic paint, but that happens as a separate step with a different medium. As far as pencil layering and blending goes, the rule of thumb is always layer black last. Which brings us to another interesting point: why blend and layer at all? Why not simply apply black directly to the areas we know will be black? Well, you have 2 gradient strips to practice on. Give it a shot and see if Simply Black is as high quality as the layered version. There are 2 main reasons we layer colors with pencils. 1, to actually physically build up the layers of wax and oil for smoother blending and thus more attractive presentation. And 2, to make each color stronger and looking more deep and 3-dimensional than it otherwise would. Note on my test circles, I added just black, black over green, and black over blue. Black over blue is by far the strongest and smoothest, and that's just 2 layers. 8. Make your actual glow source pure white. While we may see pure white in highlights and reflections here and there, like in the eyes, the biggest and the whitest pool of pigment should be your actual glowing source. In this case, it's the crystal. Because my reference is a printout of a photo of a painting, some of the clarity and detail got lost, and there's minor color distortion as well. Mainly, the white didn't print pure white. As colorists though, we have complete control over things like that. So here on my crystal, I am making 2 frontal facets as pure white as possible. We actually have multiple courses on crystals and glow effects in the Academy, with the shiniest one being the complete guide to coloring gemstones, which is a masterclass that teaches literally every imaginable type of gemstone leading up to diamonds. Note also that for my whites, I sampled a white Prismacolor pencil and a white charcoal pencil. See the huge difference? White charcoal is way stronger, but there's a catch. It can only be applied to clean paper, not over layers of shading, so plan ahead. 9. Achieve the full value range. Drawings of glow effects are most effective when we have a full value scale of black to white, with various degrees of our chosen color or colors in between. The more dark shades and pure black we have, the brighter the glowing object will appear. The color doesn't actually matter here, contrast does. Thus we can achieve this effect in any color. Try it in red, purple, amber, whatever, as long as your main color appears in at least 3 value levels between black and white. 10. Ask these final assessment questions. Does it look like it glows? If not, check your value scale and adjust accordingly, making sure the glowing object exhibits pure white. Does it glow enough? If not, check if your value scale actually goes to pure black. And if so, is there enough of it? Is it attractive? That's a difficult one for a creator to answer, as we all tend to be very humble about our own work. So post it in the community and see what other people are saying. And finally, does this match my vision? That should be an easy one to answer. You know what you were going for. Now, this was a relatively simple, mostly single color gradient. I chose single color for the ease of demonstration, but in most cases we use multiple colors, and that's where the other side of the color wheel comes in. Check out this video to learn how to use color combos to make certain hues and glow effects stand out even more with contrast, not just in value, but in hues as well. And remember to stay tuned for news on that live stream. I hope to see you all there, and I'll be happy to answer any and all questions that you have.